Hey everybody, so we're almost the end of August, and I haven't done my top 9 video for the month of June and for the month of July. And that's because I was moving. We decided we would start looking for a house kind of month of May, month of June. I expected that it would take about a year. We found something right away, which was hectic because I had just gone to Gobfest. We had Melcon coming up that I was hosting. And that was the last weekend of June. And then we took possession of the new house July 4th. But we didn't move in until July 15th because there was a lot of painting and renovations to do first. So it's been insane. And it's going to show in my stats. Let me show you that real quick here. So in the month of June, I ended up playing 48 different plays. I played 37 different games. And the big part of that was because of Melcon that I hosted. And you can see it was the 24th, 25, 26. And then on that bottom graph there, you can see that's where most of the playing happened. July, however, was a different story. And this is why I'm combining both months together. During the month of July, with the move, with the renovations and everything going on, I played one time on July 17, and it was Clask on the footstool. It wasn't even level, and that's the only game I could get the kids to play, and we had been so busy renovating, moving, packing, unpacking, and that we just haven't played. So I'm combining the month, and we're going to look at which games made the top 9 for both June and July. So in the number 9 position is Cacao. I played this one with my son Patrick before Melcon. Actually, we were both home. I was homesick with COVID, so I had to isolate for a little while. On my birthday, and I think we ended up playing this one on my birthday. So and Cacao is a game that I had purchased a while back. It sounded interesting, but I hadn't heard a whole lot about it, and we got playing it. I was impressed. This is such a neat game. So each player gets their own player color, and you get your own tiles, and your tiles are village tiles. So you'll have like a hut in the middle, and then there'll be 4 meeples along the sides. So either you'll have 1, 1, 1, 1 on all 4 sides of your tile, or maybe you'll have 1, 2, and 1, or you'll have 2 and 2, or so different combination of that. And you have these other tiles that'll have the cacao plantation, they'll have mines, they'll have different things, and you play them in a staggered way. So you'll have like the everything tile, and then 1 village tile, and then an everything tile and 1 village tile. We have played 2 players, and then what happens is like you'll put your village tile, and where there's a meeple, that side connecting to the main tile, you get to activate that action. And depending on the number of meeple that's on there, you get to activate that action once, twice, 3 times, depending on how many peoples you have on that particular side. And then if you've placed a tile in the past, and then the next player kind of adds another village, well, not the village, like the main tile, and it touches one of your tile and it has a meeple there, then you'll get to activate that action then as well. So you're trying to like kind of look and add these so you're not helping the other player too much. You're collecting these little cacao wooden bits on there, and then you can go into the market and sell them as well. You can never hold more than 5. It is so cool. It was such a neat game. I really enjoyed this one, and I cannot wait to play it again. Now, in my number 8 position is Dice Town. I ended up buying this game at Melcon Flea Market, and then we played it there. And I played it with my friend Lyle and my sister Jeannie. I'll show you a picture here. There we are playing it. And this game is so cool. So first of all, the components. We all had this little plastic cups, and you're shaking the dice on there, and you put it down and you look and nobody else looks, and then you kind of decide which dice you want to keep. Now, if you want to keep more than 1 dice, you have to pay extra coins to keep more than 1 dice. And you're building your hand that way, kind of one at a time. But they're poker dice, so you're trying to put together a hand of poker as well. But depending on who has the majority of 9s, 10s, jack, queen, king, and so on, you'll activate the different part of the board. So the first one is you're collecting gold, and then the golds are going to be worth points at the end. The second one is you're robbing the bank. And then every time you pay a coin as well to kind of keep extra dice, that goes into the carriage, which is going to replenish the bank once the bank is robbed. Then you're going to the saloon where you can, there's all these different things. And it was almost 2 months. It was 2 months ago now. So I don't remember all the details. And then it's been packed since. So it's unpacked now. I really want to play this with my family because I think they'll enjoy it. But then you also, whoever has the best poker hand gets to buy the deeds, or gets the deeds to land, which are going to be worth points again at the end. This one was so cool. Plus, I think it comes with paper money, but I bought this copy used, and they had put poker chips in there instead, which is so much more thematic, and it was so cool. It was a really neat, fun game. I'm so excited it's in my collection now, and like I said, I can't wait to play with my family. Then the next one I have in number 7 position is Creature Comfort. Now I keep talking about Creature Comforts. I've played this quite a few times now, and every time I keep saying how it's placed too long and there's just something about it that holds me back a little bit. And I played it at Melcon again. And turns out I'm playing it incorrectly, and that's probably why it's taking so long. We've been way too forgiven. This is an area control. So you have your little wood-shaped meeple, and there's different ones for each character, and then you put them on the different locations you want to activate. But then you also have to have the dice, because each location will have a certain dice requirement. So it could be that if you have a 5 and a 6, you can go here. Or if you have 3 dice that totals to 8 or less, you can go there, and so on. But then, so that means when you're activating those different areas, you need to put the dice on those spots. Now, what we were doing is, like, let's say you couldn't activate the one spot you went to. That's fine. You don't have to. But then we were allowing to activate the other spots we put our meeples on multiple times with whatever dice we had. You're not supposed to do that. You're only supposed to activate it the one time. And if you don't have enough dice for the other stuff, then those dice don't get used. So that was really making the game drag. Now, I haven't played it yet with the proper rules, but I'm excited to. Now, even though I was playing it wrong and this game just felt like it played so long, I really liked it. The components in this game are amazing. And then all the resources that you can get, all kind of shaped wooden bits. The game is really pretty. Like, it has great table presence, and I still really enjoyed it. My number 6 for the month of June/July is Four Gardens. This game was in the flea market at Melcon, and I didn't buy it. My sister bought it. And then and you know what? Because I looked at the back of it and I saw the tower that you build, and I'm like, this is going to be so gimmicky. I don't know. I'll think about it. And then my sister came to Melcon, and then she's like, I'm going to buy this one. And then she hadn't brought cash, so I lent her the money to buy this game as well. And I'm kicking myself for not buying it sooner. This is my sister. We ended up playing this game, and it is such an interesting game. So you have these cards, and you can activate different parts of the cards. And then if you activate the kind of the rotation part, it tells you like which level of the tower you can rotate. Now, keep in mind, when you rotate a level of the tower, anything above it will rotate along with it. So if you rotate the bottom, everything moves. If you rotate the second one from the bottom, then the top 3 is going to move, and so on. And you can rotate like left or right. And then on the side facing you have icons, and there's like 1, 2, 3, or none for 4 different resources, and you're rotating it. And then one of the actions you can do is collect the icons as well, and it's going to tell you if you're collecting from top to bottom or from the bottom to the top. And you have to collect the icons that you come across, but you have limited space of how much you can hold. So if you can only hold 5, and then you're kind of collecting, and you collect 3, and then you collect 1, and then like there's another 3 like in this example, but you got to do it from the bottom up. And maybe you didn't need the bottom one, and now you're cluttering your your resource area with things you didn't really need. And then you have these, I think they're card or tiles, like you're trying to create these murals and you have to have the proper resource to complete it. And then when you complete the whole image, that's going to give you points, and then you move your token along that location. And then when you reach the end, you don't move forward anymore, but you get to move the other players backwards as well. And if you do this enough, you can actually move them off the board completely. This was such a neat game. Yeah, you got the gimme tower, but it was so good. And I didn't buy it. I could have. Now, number 5 for the month of June, July is Awkward Guess. I played this one for the first time at Gobfest, and I went hunting it down. I found my own copy. We played it twice at Melcon. The copy I bought actually had a bunch of laminated sheets, so then we just use dry erase marker. And this is like Clue on steroids. And what I really like about this one, with Clue, you'll kind of be sharing clues with each other, and basically you see a card and be like, okay, this is a gun. So you know the gun is not the murder weapon. This takes that to the next level, because you'll see the card, and depending on what it says, it'd be like, oh, okay, this says that the coroner did the autopsy and they were able to discover that it wasn't blunt force trauma, so you know that it's going to eliminate these 4 weapons, and so on. Like, so it's a lot more detailed, but you got to figure it out as well. It's not just kind of telling you, okay, it's not this. And then you got to put all these clues together and then trying to figure out who the murderer was. What was their motive? Did they have an accomplice? What weapon did they use? Kind of what path it went through. And then it's just a neat, interesting game. Then in number 4 position for the month of June, July is Whistle Stop. Full disclosure, I played Whistle Stop as a 2-player by myself just to learn the rules. And as I was doing that, I could tell this is going to be such a neat pick up and deliver game. And you're putting all these train tracks, and then you can kind of move your train, and you've got multiple trains. So you can move the train and collect these resources, and that goes in the thing. And then if you get to a station, then you have to have the proper resource at that station to be able to kind of spend the thing. And if you go in the station and don't have the proper resources, it's going to cost you points. And you got more tiles you can put. Now the coal will allow you to move forward, but if you get a whistle, you can go forward and backwards. You can kind of go back to another location that will give you a resource that you might need. And then if your train makes it all the way west on that map, then you get to activate kind of one of the big rewards. But then that train is done for the game. It was neat. It was so neat. I really want to play this with more players, or actual players, not just with myself, but I really enjoyed this one. The next one I have in number 3 position is Foundations of Rome. So this game was at Melcon, and I mean, this game is massive. Like on a Calyx, one game takes the whole cube. Like, it is a big, massive game. It retails like at $300. And I had seen it and I'm like, oh my God, what an overproduced game. Like, really? And then all that money? And let me show you the bits here. Like, so each player have their own little board, and you have, I was playing as the red, so I have my own red board, and you have all of those different buildings that you can add onto the main board. Depending on the number of players, how big the board you're playing on is going to be. And then some will score different things. Some will score, give you points for population. It gives you population. Some will give you money. Some will give you kind of ways to score for what's around it and so on. Like, it was interesting. And then what you uncover, because if you notice, like the black area on that board, what's been uncovered will kind of show you what you're scoring. And then every round you'll do a scoring as well, but then you're also bidding and collecting these little squares on the map. So you're kind of collecting land, and then when you have enough land put together, you can replace it and put a building on it, but you can only upgrade. You can't kind of downgrade. So you're doing all these upgrades and then kind of filling in this map, and then you had the little metal coins for when you were collecting money. This game was amazing. It was so good. You know what? The whole buying the land, putting stuff on it had a Chinatown feel to it to me. I really like this game. Um, and after I've played it, I went and seeked out Chinatown and bought my own copy of Chinatown. $300 is a steep price. And I think that Chinatown will kind of scratch that itch for me. But if given the chance to play Foundation of Rome again, I'm there. This is an amazing game. It looks stunning and it's fun. Then in number 2 position, I have Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. We had not played Gloomhaven in such a long time. This is a campaign that me and Lee are doing together. And we did this one scenario, and I had spent all of my good cards trying to beat these different towers I had come across. And then once we did, it opened the door. And I didn't realize there was like a part 2 to this scenario, but I am out of good cards. I had given it all in the first half, and this was the first scenario that we lost. And it made me a little bitter. I was mad at the game. So we're like, okay, should we play? And I was like, not yet. Like, I need to make my peace with this game first. So finally played it again, beat the scenario. You know what? This picture, I don't know, is from that particular scenario. I don't believe that it is, but it was fun. So we've kind of made it past this one scenario that kind of had stumped us. So now we just gotta kind of keep going. We're more than halfway through the scenarios now. And then once we finish that and we finish the game, I'm going to be looking at the full Gloomhaven game. So I've got lots to go, but yeah, it was good though. It's just so satisfying to make it through. Then in my number 1 position for the month of June, July is Keyflower. I just really like this game. This game is so good, and we ended up playing it at Malcon. And it looks neat. Like, everybody gets this little house, and like you look at it, it's a little house, and then you look inside and you can see like all the different, there's a table, there's the windows and curtains, and like the attention to detail in this is really neat. And then each round you play through the 4th season, you have tiles that comes up, and you're going to be bidding on those tiles. So you have all these meeples, and you're going to have different colored meeples, and you can put the tile, your meeple, on the side of the tile that's facing you to show that you're bidding on it. Now, if I put a yellow meeple, that means now that if anybody wants to outbid me for that same tile, they're going to need to bid in yellow meeples as well. So they would have to put 2 or 3 yellow meeples and so on. And it could be that, you've got a couple players fighting for the tile because it does this. And then one player is like, okay, well, I'm not going to bid on the tile because I can't, but I'm going to put a yellow meeple on top of it so I can do the action right now. And then you get to activate the action. And then whoever wins that tile would also get the meeple that activated the action. And then that would add to their meeples for the next round. And you're building a village with the tiles you're collecting. And then in that village, you can then kind of activate those actions as well by putting meeples on that also on top of bidding or activating the middle, the tiles that are in the middle. But you can also play your player on other people's village as they can on your own village and activate those tiles. Now, by doing that, you are giving them a meeple for the next round because those meeples on their own village is going to come into their house and they're going to need to be able to utilize them again. So you're kind of setting them up to be more powerful in the bidding aspect of it for the next round, but then you can activate those actions. Mind you, it can be frustrating when you're building your village and you're kind of prepping everything. Say, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to activate this location, collect this, and I'm going to move that, then I'm going to upgrade this tile and flip it over, and now it's going to be worth more points. And then they come and they they activate the tile that you needed to activate. Now you can still activate it, but now you have to put 2 meeple instead of 1, and they've kind of designated the color. Like, maybe I didn't want to do it in blue. I was hoping to do it in red, but now I have to use my blue meeple there. So it's so neat, so interesting. The Keyflower is such a great game that it made me kind of consider the whole Key series. And I just purchased Keeper, but I haven't played it yet. So see how many more key games I'll be able to find. But that was my number one for the month of June and July. So this is a recap of all the games that made it into my top 9. As you can see, I use Pub Meeple for sorting which games made it into the top 9. If you want to follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page is Mel and Friends Board Game Room. On Instagram, I am Mel's _ board game _ room. I do have a podcast that I do with my friend Carla called The Board Game Specialists. And on YouTube, my YouTube channel is called Mel's Board Game Room. So stay tuned to see which game made the top 9 for the month of August, because I'm actually playing a little now. We got the board game room set up. I did share a video kind of revealing what my board game room looks like, so be sure to look at that so you can kind of see what my the new setup looks like. So bye, everybody.